Hey, Chef, we have a message for you from the Food Network. It was them trying to reach out and see if I would participate in CHOP. And I called the casting director right after that, the next day. And I guess the rest is history. You have 30 minutes to cook, and 20 minutes for appetizer, 30 minutes for entree and dessert. It was a great experience, and I'm excited to do some future stuff with them. People have reached out and asking me when they can come. It's going to be exciting to see exactly how much pickup we're going to bring in from people who've watched the episode and everything. But I just wanted to have a chance to thank everybody who have reached out to me, because it's been incredible, especially from the Filipino community as well as the gay community. I lost my father to cancer about 12 years ago. It was in that plane ride that I decided to share that story. And pretty much what happened was my dad became very sick. It was quite literally the week he passed, I mustered up the courage to come out to him. My parents have always been supportive and really great parents. But I think the fear was, especially coming from an immigrant family, and we were very traditionally Catholic Filipinos. What they weren't conservative with their support and love. And I was so fortunate to come out and be accepted immediately from my parents, and my father especially. It was really unfortunate that he wasn't around to see some of the great achievements that I've had in my life. And that's one of the things that he shared with me when I told him. I had kind of had such a love for food early on. My grandma, who was an amazing woman, she was living with us, with my family, very kind of true to the Filipino culture. She was living with us. She grew her own vegetables. She couldn't find any of the Filipino vegetables in the United States, so she just grew it herself. It's something that's just so special, So those are kind of the earlier memories I have of my love of food, and cooking was definitely inspired by my grandmother. Yeah, I'm more classically French, European trained when I was, studying culinary arts. Back then, I wanted to work in more fine dining restaurants, and there was no Asian fine dining. And I kind of ignored my heritage at that point, because I was like, I'm gonna be more French trained. When I was, coming into restaurants, during that time, fusion was like a huge thing, and all these chefs were starting to do fusion. That's when I started to gravitate again into kind of my roots, and really start experimenting with Asian flavors. I find that a lot of the French European techniques and utilizing Asian flavors, it's a great way to build dishes and cook. The marriage of those things, I think, creates some very interesting dishes and recipes. So. Going into the CHOP kitchen, what I wanted to show the judges and what I wanted to have cook that was representative of my style of cooking and myself. I thought, hey, like Filipino cooking, there's so much pork. Was that first dish, which was the sisig, and it was going to be a challenge to impart those kinds of flavors. I thought I could pull it off with the amount of time I had, and it was a good call. And that's what I love about Filipino food, how it resonates with people of any culture and their palates, because it's so mixed in terms of the cuisine. That's really why I love showcasing a lot of Filipino food, because it's still it's starting to come mainstream, that's for certain. I'm happy to become an ambassador of that, ambassador of Filipino food. That's why I did make a conscious effort to involve my cultural experiences in that Chopped episode, and it's why I make that decision to do it. I always try to include some kind of Filipino flavors, just because, you know, as a chef, I'm also, you know, very close with the face of the restaurant, and they give me a lot of freedom to express myself, and you know, a lot of autonomy with the culinary program here in the restaurants at the One Hotel Brooklyn that I oversee. I'm not one of those chefs who are kind of blinded by the artistry of the food. I'm very, very much results driven, and the success that I'm bringing to the hotel and the brand and the restaurants that we run is evident even before that I won Chopped, and I think it's going to be even more so now. I mean, this whole year has been interesting. I think it's been interesting, challenging, and situation for a lot of people. So thinking of where to go, I ended up calling my mom, who now lives in Tampa, and we stayed with her for 3 months in the summer. And I built a garden for her, and we had actually spent a lot of great time together. I wouldn't have changed anything. I didn't spend enough time with my father after I had left the house and went to college. And you know, now that I was able to spend that time with my mother, you know, it was great. You know, I definitely have to hand that to my husband. We've been together for you know, close to 14 years. So he's definitely kept me in line. Well, in the culinary world, and I think this kind of works in hand together, you know, it's such a work and labor of passion and love. It really is. You have to really love to cook and love the entire process, because it is it's not as glamorous of a job as is portrayed on TV. Eliminate your ego and do the hard work and put your nose down and really work at it and develop yourself as a chef. For young people struggling with their identity or sexual identity, you know, it takes time, and don't feel like you have to be rushed to prove anything or do anything that you're not comfortable with yet. There is systemic issues out there that have continued to put minorities in a place that you know, we don't deserve, and we should have the same rights and opportunities as everyone else who comes to, you know, the United States to experience what that promise is. And the promise is that everyone is created equally, you know. So I believe we have a lot of things to continue to move towards, and I'm happy to be an ambassador and kind of using my platform to show LGBT as well as Filipino X and Asian American community.